I told you that everything you believe about this pump turned dump is actually a lie? As Bitcoin initiates an extra big dumpy wumpy all the way down nearly a couple of percent, are the Moon Boys now absolutely boned big time? Or are the baby bulls actually about to initiate maximum bonage? Right now, the price of Bitcoin has initiated a little dumpy doodah, as we've been discussing for the past couple of weeks, and this is gigantic. We're going to be talking about specifically what levels to watch for during this little bitsy dumpy wumpy, but more importantly, a plethora of maximum news. In fact, one chart that I'm going to show you for the very first time in history right on this webisode. But I want to start off by looking at this. So let's take a look at some news here. BlackRock expecting the Fed now to stop its rate hiking cycle without getting to its 2% inflation target. We've been talking about BlackRock a lot. With over the next 5 years, their total assets under management expected to be well over 10 trillion here, up to about 15 trillion according to one recent news story. So a very interesting and important piece of data and institution to be looking at. But Americans having to live with high prices for years to come. Then also being quoted here by Jack Mahler's tweet, "We think the politics of inflation narrative is on the cusp of changing." And if we look here too, I think this is really important. So Bitcoin has pumped massively, well over 100% over the last couple of months, basically the entire year of 2023 so far. And now we haven't really seen a big dump, but now we potentially have the very first indications that we could see our first prolonged cool down. And this is so early on. Bitcoin is down literally not even 3% at the exact time of me recording this. But we have to be prepared because Bitcoin has gone up so much that I just think it's wise to anticipate and expect that we could see this dump get a little bigger. Now, again, I'm not at all convinced just yet that we're going to see that, but I think that is the stance to be taking right now, is to be really looking to see how big this dump could get. But imagine standing on the sidelines right now when altcoins start mimicking the move of Bitcoin. A lot of people are expecting an altcoin season now as Bitcoin has rallied over 100%. I'm going to get into my opinion a little bit about that soon here. Because a lot of people are basically saying that they think it's guaranteed. Altcoins are about to run now massively also, considering Bitcoin has just ran a lot. But I want to offer my opinion with that. But here we have, insane Mega Mommy Kathy Wood. Bitcoin is a flight safety like gold. Absolutely beautiful. Very cool. That's amazing. But if we take a look at Titan of Crypto here, this is big too. So very identical to the chart that I'm going to show you in a second that I posted exactly 2 months ago for the entire crypto market cap. He speculates, what if a similar situation is happening with Bitcoin specifically? Instead of a descending broadening wedge or a falling wedge like Bitcoin is in right now, it also fits perfectly with a descending broadening wedge. And you can see here this comparison with a previous macro market all the way back in the 90s with the NASDAQ. So very big, with a price trend run up, a gigantic multi-month, even over almost multi-year descending broadening wedge, just absolutely gigantic with a massive bust-off, blast-off. And that perfectly ties into something I want to talk about in a second, but also big mooch, scaramouche. Bitcoin is a commodity and should not be regulated by SEC, very big. Guys, my opinion, I think Gary Gensler himself and the SEC has overreached, and they are going on a power trip here. After failing to prevent FTX and basically failing at their job since Gensler took office, they're going on a rampage here, trying to crack down on everything, even things they have absolutely no jurisdiction over. It's just complete baloney, right? And I think that we're going to see some big changes here. Now, another really big thing about this, too, is that more news Hong Kong. Again, greater news that a lot of cryptocurrency adoption is going to be transitioning there because the U.S. is kind of pushing crypto adoption seemingly out of the U.S., which I personally believe will be the biggest mistake. Not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be fine. I think that if the U.S. pushes adoption offshores and out of the U.S., goodbye. I think the U.S. is already on decline when it comes to the dollar and influence and everything. And I think if you would push Bitcoin out too and push crypto out, you give yourself zero chance to survive in the economy, in the financial market, these global financial markets. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're clipping your toenails a little too much and they hurt. You're basically doing everything bad if you do that. That's the U.S., right? The U.S. is like a wounded little birdie. And I want this birdie to fly, right? I want the US to benefit, and I want crypto to benefit. But if the US decides we're going to clip our little wings of this birdie and outlaw crypto and just crack down on it, big mistake. If we take a look here also, the US dollar has potentially now begun its fourth massive bear market of the past 50 years. Bank of America saying the US dollar is in its fourth bear market of the last century. What do you think? Okay, what do you think? Right now the dollar's up a little bit today, but nothing. In my opinion, nothing long-standing will come out of that. Over $1 trillion has left the U.S. banking system this year so far. Things are about to get much worse, according to Heidi from Blockchain Chick. I agree with that. And a lot of other people are warning something similar. But I do want to highlight as well, I tweeted this yesterday, the entire crypto market increased over 3,000% from its December 2018 lows to its bull market highs in November of 2021. If crypto, once again, increased, but if it only increased 1/6 of that, crypto would be worth over or roughly about $5 trillion. If it increased roughly about 33% of what it did last time, it would be over $8 trillion. So, it does not, it's very unlikely that crypto is going to increase another 3,000%. But what about 1/6 of that? Or what about even 1/3 of that? I think that's very likely, very possible, especially as adoption gains more and more traction and people look for a real alternative to where nobody was really worried about banks in the last bull market, right? In 2017, nobody was worried about banks. Now there's a real fear about keeping your money in banks. So a flight to safety, which would be Bitcoin, the narrative around that is so much stronger. So I'm trying to be conservative here. I think that at the very least, Bitcoin will reach, or crypto as a whole will reach $5 trillion valuation, which is only 1/6 of how much it pumped last time during this next bull market. And I think also even 1/3 of that, around $8 trillion total crypto valuation, is still conservative for this next bull market. Also, if we take a look, this is what I was talking about 2 months ago on February 16th. We had this tweet about the beginning of the cryptocurrency market cap breaking out. Okay, this was back February 16th, so 2 months ago. Let's fast forward. Where are we at now? Well, you can see a lot of price movement has developed in that time. It's going perfectly. It's going beautifully. Crypto is doing what we said it would 2 months ago. But I do want to highlight this as well. Maximum pain, in my opinion, will be if Bitcoin drops here. And it would have to drop substantially. Remember, I've been talking about a 20+% drop for a decent amount of time now, where people get very bearish and they think 10K Bitcoin might actually be guaranteed again. And then next thing you know, we're breaking 35 and 40K. Biggest bear trap of all time is the only way I'd be able to describe that. Basically, as Nez the Great said, the old reach around switcheroo, and that's exactly what this is. But here we have as well, people, if you want a CBDC, which I don't know why anyone would, imagine this. They could do this. They could decline your payment because you had some tweets they didn't like. It violates your bank's hate speech policies. So this is the nightmare of CBDCs. Just one little example, which I thought was interesting because, again, CBDCs, which are kind of the enemy of crypto and the enemy of the people, enemy of freedom. Imagine that. Say you voice your opinion on Twitter and, the people, the government in charge, they decide they don't like that. You can't buy things you want. Well, with a CBDC, they have the power to do things like that. What a true nightmare. According to CryptoCon here, Bitcoin just closed its fourth month above the least square moving average. And you can see, the chart pretty much says it all. This is potentially very, very bullish for the long term of crypto. And wow, look at this beautiful little puppy skydiving. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a little corgi. Very cute. But now if we take a look at the crypto charts here, Bitcoin right now has a lot of room to consolidate. I personally think 25,000, as I've been saying, is still in the cards for a pullback here. So we need to watch that. Still the same for the stock market. I think the possibility of the stock market topping here. But the stock market as well has some decent resistance or support below it. I think a test, again, of 4K is inevitable over the next 2 weeks. So I think we will be testing 4K again on the SPX. Now this chart is massive. Bitcoin's weekly chart just got the 2150 cross right here, just like we got in the relief rally all the way back in 2019. And after this cross, Bitcoin still pumped 150%. So what would that look like if we pumped 150%? It would bring Bitcoin up to almost 60K. Let's say we even pumped half of that from here, about 75%. That would put Bitcoin around 40K. And also, if you want to look at some of these big resistance lines, you can see this was a massive resistance at the very end of the bull market, where Bitcoin got rejected during its relief rally. And for us here, that would kind of look about the 50K or so, 50 to 47K range as well. But I just think the similarities are insane. We had this bull market and then a drop and a relief. We had a bull market, drop, and it looks like we're in a relief as well. If the relief ended right now, it would be it would just be like basically a little less than a third as powerful as the 2019 relief rally. So I think there's still, looking back, plenty of room that we could still see a relief rally. But as you can see, even from the past, there's absolutely the opportunities for backtests, sideways trading, and dumps along the way of this as well. Yeah, we're still trading firmly within the bone zone. In my opinion, anything within the bone zone kind of is not super interesting. That's why I have the bone zone on here for months and months, is that the bone zone is kind of just, this boring sideways trading. This boring sideways trading where no definitive decision has been made. And currently I'm still up roughly about 25,000 USD in profit. If you're interested in trading as well, it takes 2 minutes to sign up, and there's a 2-minute tutorial popping up in the description and on the screen right now. You can sign up. You can get 0 fees when trading spot when you use my links below, and massive deposit and sign up bonuses as well if you're interested in trading these markets as well. And without any further ado, may the pump be with you.